given the function ln of x minus 3 equals f of x. Okay, now I could have written it just f of x equals ln of x minus 3. Either way, that's our function. We're asked to find the inverse of this function, f inverse of x. Now we need to remember the most general way for finding inverse functions. We'll go back and reread note 85. So freeze the video, go back and read note 85. And before we go any further, let's see, I just want to mention that the log and the exponential functions are one-to-one functions. So their inverse does exist, and we are allowed to do this. Okay, step one, we have y. We're supposed to remove f of x and write it as y. Y equals natural log of x minus 3. In other words, we have log base e of x minus 3. And I really shouldn't have turned it backwards because I'm about to do the butterfly. So let me just write it back as log base e of the number x minus 3 equals y. Now stop. This is step one from note 85. You read note 85. It said to take the function f of x and rename the f of x y. Just call it y. Okay, so we've done that. Now we're ready for step two. Step two says solve for x. Solve for x. The only way I'm going to be able to get x out of that terrible prison that it's in, that's locked up in that logarithm prison, is to translate this logarithmic equation into an equivalent exponential equation. So I've got it set up. The log is on the left side and the number y is on the right. So now I'm ready to do my butterfly wings and write this as an exponential form in order to work on isolating the x value. Okay, so this is base e raised to the exponent y equals the number x minus 3. Great, I've got x out where I can work with it. Let's get x by itself. We will get the negative 3 to the other side by adding 3 to both sides, and we'll get e to the y plus 3 equals x. Great, so that's x equals e to the y plus 3. There, I've concluded step 2 from note 85. I have isolated the x. Step 3 is to rename the x's and the y's. So now we have y instead of x equals e to the x. I'm sorry, e to the x plus 3. So I just swapped their names. Y equals e to the x plus 3. And then step 4, replace y with the inverse function f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is equal to e to the x plus 3, and we're finished. That's our inverse function. And as I mentioned earlier, by the way, I said that the log and the exponential functions are one-to-one, and that's why we know that the inverse does exist. I just want to mention that to you. Okay, so go back and study note 85 and get into that homework and take those logarithms and write their inverse function and vice versa.